All right, friends. Well, let's jump into the DAO here. See everyone coming up. Thank you for the gift, Choinya.
Thank you, thank you. Welcome everyone, GM. Welcome to the DAO call for Saturday, the 7th of September. I hope everyone's having a great weekend, and I'm just going to jump into our snapshot review. We only had one proposal close, so Agate 131, the Forge Competition Pilot Season 1. That was posted by Oliver Spoon, FIFU, and PG, and that has passed. So 89.18% in favor. Quorum hit 9.1 million, and the vote closed on August 31st. So we have another competition to look forward to. And I was looking in the chat the other day, and it looks like the date has been pushed back a week so that they can get the leaderboard website up and running so we can see what's happening and get to forging. So looking forward to that one coming live. So I believe the 14th is when we'll next see something from that one. Our next prop we have is the Unity Defensive Aave repost. This time it has been revised down to a 14K budget. So a few things have been taken off the plan to account for that or bumped to a later date. And as it stands, you will need a gotchi or an NFT, a fake NFT to play. There will be incentives for land parcels near landmarks or 28 kek spacious parcels. So the owners of those 28 kek parcels as well get extra bonuses of more practice time and some extra modes to help them with their game. And there should be some Alchemica sinks in the shop, and it is a Unity top-down survival defense shooter game. So the things that didn't make the cut for this revised proposal were the 2D graphics SDK, the Steam launch, and some of the leaderboard security, which will be bumped to the final demo, and the sound and graphics library is also bumped to the end. So at the moment, the vote went live on the 24th of August. You have one more day. It's closing tomorrow night. Well, tomorrow my time night. And it is currently 60% in favor, 5.2 million ghost, and quorum is nearly there. It's at 8.6 million of 9. So if anyone hasn't voted yet, now's your time before you run out. And if you have any final questions for Flame, you can hit him up in his thread or maybe even today at the end of the call. So that is our active proposal. The next one is the Gotchi Battler version 1.7, version 2 funding request. So these have been combined together for timing convenience, and basically the 1.7 build will be a small web app and game balancing improvement, and the V2 is the Unity app ready for season 10, which should be in January. So the proposal is nice and detailed. It breaks down everything monthly, who's doing what, and where what to expect. So if you haven't had a look at that one, I recommend it. It's a well-written prop. It closes on September 9, so you have 2 more days, and it is currently 81% in favor, with even closer to quorum, 8.9 million. So a hair away from passing. So anyone that hasn't voted, you know what to do. And that is this, well, that was my last prop. We do have Flame's marketing budget Coinzilla Aavegotchi prop that came up this morning. So It's only been live for a few hours. We're going to be talking about marketing at the end of this call, so that will be a great time to start brainstorming about what we want to do in that department, and we might have a further discussion next week. So that is our snapshot review. Next up on the agenda, we have, let's see, Light Piglet. So he is coming to speak to us about the Gotchi Greeters V2 proposal that's coming soon. And he also wants to let us know about some based Minecraft that's happening. So Light Piglet, welcome.
Good morning. Good morning. So I'll start with based Minecraft since that's pretty straightforward. For based Minecraft, I met the lead dev at On-Chain Summit. I had brought this up on a call already that they were interested in adding an Aavegotchi to the game. So they're already familiar with our IP. He's been around the Polygon and Aavegotchi ecosystem since the Luchadors mint. He knew about us from that. So he's really looking forward to working with us. He really respects us, all that kind of stuff. I already sent them the 2D SVGs. They're gonna add this boss for free. They're gonna buy the tokens to put into the boss. They're gonna do all the artwork, all that kind of stuff on their own. We don't have to pay for anything. After that happens, we're gonna get full control over the wallet. So we can add tokens to it as we please. We also get to control the drop rate of the tokens. So say there's 100 tokens in there, we can set it to 1%. So anytime somebody kills a boss, 1 token drops. 200, whatever we want to do. I'll probably just post the address or figure that out down the road. Kind of see how this first thing goes. And if it's popular and people kind of start flooding over, I think it's something we should probably continue. Looking at their site right now, they have 24 active players this morning, so that's pretty good. That's usually more than in the Gotchiverse at any given time when I look. So,
Very cool. That sounds like a win-win.
Yeah, it's definitely a newer audience. They're a newer project. I think they launched during On-Chain Summer, in the beginning, and they, won something from that hackathon. They didn't win the entire thing, but they won a little grant. So it's not like they're unfamiliar to the base community, and they do have players. There's children in there onboarding their parents in the Discord. So it looks like an interesting concept. It might not work out for them, but right now it's no cost to us, so it can't hurt. The only thing we really need from the community is to come up with a special attack for the boss. I didn't want to make this decision on my own, so I figured I'd just pose the question on the call. We can kind of think about it and talk about it in the DAO discussion over the next few weeks or, a couple days, however long it takes us. But yeah, they're pretty much ready to kind of start getting the ball rolling on that. They haven't implemented the bosses yet, but that's their next thing. They just added clans, and then bosses are next. Yeah, I think the boss is a gotchi, or the boss has a pet, and the pet is an Aavegotchi. I got to clarify that point, Coderdan, but one way or another, the boss involves an Aavegotchi. I think he sent me a picture of one of the bosses. Just their test base boss. I'll drop the picture. Flame, I don't think that putting a liquidator in a game where nobody knows what it is probably the best idea. I think if we, further continue this down the road, it ends up working out, then we add deeper lore characters like a liquidator or, a leaf shade or something like that. Oliver. But I think as far as the first iteration goes, we should add an Aavegotchi. We want people to know our IP. The Aavegotchi is the flagship face of the project, not the liquidator.
Yeah, I'm really liking that pet super hard.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty funny. I like it. So yeah, I mean we don't have to decide right this second, but I just wanted to bring it up. Like doesn't need a thread. But yeah, over the next couple days, I'll kind of ping everybody, see where we're at, throw up some ideas. Maybe I'll start like a little thread in the DAO discussion rather than a separate DAO thread, kind of how the UI UX thread is for that. Just to keep it clean. And anyway, that's
Very cool.
about it for that. So just drop ideas as they come to you. You don't have to have the perfect idea right now. They're not that close to launching the boss yet. And then moving on, so I have posted the discussion for Greeters V2, and I'm going to drop a little highlight reel here. It's the rough cut from No Future. He has not finished, but we are making like an official post. But I figured I'd drop it here while I'm up here now in the discussion. I'll just give everybody a minute to watch that on their own.
Okay, so this is the highlights from the last. How long has it been now?
Year,
It's been almost a year. Yeah.
10 months was when we
10
got our funding originally.
It's been a busy 10 months.
Oh yeah, we're at 25 Gotchi gang members sent around to various different events, and it'll be at the end of it, it'll end up being 15 total events by the time we're done. We've done 12 so far, and we got 3 more coming up.
Fantastic. And did I see you've also added someone in from EU-based Gotchi gang to help coordinate any events that are on this side?
Yeah, we're going to add Mr. Seb. He's been instrumental helping me plan out the ECC presence as well as the Gamescom presence. Both Maxi and Fifu had great things to say about him. BGA spoke highly about all 3 of them, actually. But Mr. Seb has been in contact with them a ton. So we want to like have an international liaison of sorts. This is kind of like the first step. We'd like to have somebody also Asia-based as well. We just, kind of got our foot in the door with Asia, so we're still learning who's there, their performance, all that, and everybody's been great. There's no bad things to say. It's just like, we want to see who's most apt to handle things and where we're mostly going to do things. If we're doing a lot of events in Japan specifically, we probably want the Asian events lead to be somebody based in Japan somewhere, or more mainland if we're doing more events on the mainland. Not really sure, but Mr. Seb's right in the middle of Europe, so that works out perfect.
Very cool, very cool. And I mean, we've gotten a lot out of the budget that you guys were originally assigned. I mean, it wasn't frivolously spent, even to the point where you're driving the arcade machine because halfway across the country, because that's the cheaper and better option for transporting it. So it's been a really great initiative, and it's, as Joanna said, it's a no-brainer, I think, to give V2 a go. It's our best kind of marketing that we do, and we have a great presence and keeps us in everyone's mind at all these different events. So another year would be awesome, and we can start maybe targeting different types of events as we get better at it.
Yeah, I think the first year was a good learning experience. We learned what didn't work, what did work, what events were, worth hitting. Some I would say I would not do again. And thankfully they were low spends, but regardless, there's a couple of things that I would just do completely differently or just not do again. So we did definitely learn. I wouldn't say that we didn't make any mistakes or anything like that, but yes, we did try to be frugal as possible. We don't really pay ourselves all that much money for just, running the task force. All the money goes out to people for working and getting them to the events and paying for tickets when we need to, and those kind of things. So it'll be very much the same for V2. The prop won't look all that much different. So I don't have too much to talk about in that regard. I did pose a few questions to the DAO. And I would like people to kind of, give us some more ideas what you want to see. This is a, a community initiative. It's a public good. We're not here to make money for ourselves. We're here to promote the project and help the people like get out there and spread the gospel. So I mean, it's really about us, not me or my team or what we're doing. It's about everybody. So I would like to see a lot more discussion kind of go on about ideas and that kind of thing. Because I want to get more people involved. I don't want it to be the same friends at all the events. It has been a little bit of that, not because we like didn't have um, competent people. There just wasn't a lot of people stepping up. I hit pretty much everybody that had said or had indicated their interest on our original sheet, and I made sure I posted that again with this V2 prop. And you know, the Asia friends are starting to get their rounds, and hopefully DevCon in November. See how that goes. But I did have a couple more questions I wanted to pose to the DAO, just like general. How should we measure success, and like how do you think we can be better? You know, I don't need answers right now, but just something to throw down in the thread. I'm gonna let that thing marinate for a little bit. There's nothing coming up super quickly that I need to make sure I have the funds for. Basil's the first real big thing. Anything else before that is kind of extra. And then one thing that was posed a while back during ETH Denver was the DAO merch site. Now, when that was posed, it was kind of dropped on my head. Didn't really have any scope for it or anything. But now I've kind of scoped it out. I've figured out a way to take on-chain payments, all that kind of stuff. We don't have to worry about taxes like with Shopify and all this kind of stuff. And I can direct some of that income back to the DAO. The one thing I really need help with is figuring out shipping. We need to like do some sort of drop shipping mechanism because I'm in America. We have a lot of people in Europe. We also have people in Asia and Latin America. So I don't really know if we want to set up like the Gotchi drop shipping network or something like that. But I do need some friends that are trusted in other countries to help deliver these goods if we're going to run a DAO merch site. I do have it like spec'd out so I can give like artists their shares immediately. When they post a product, they'll be able to sell it for 80% of the value, 10% will go to the DAO, and like 10% will go to me for site maintenance or something like that. I haven't figured out the exact numbers. But that is something like I have pretty much scoped out. The last piece is shipping.
Very cool. Yeah, I think you definitely will need something European based because that old import tax is brutal over here. Nothing gets through.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen the tickets come through and like just seen other people complain and talk to people where they're international and they're trying to get one of the Gotchi merch items from our regular site, and the shipping is crazy. I think they actually have solved that. They're using a different print on demand now, so that might not be as big of a problem. A little alpha there in the future. Yep, there we go.
I'd have to check that out.
So yeah, print on demand is coming for the site, so that won't necessarily be a problem for your actual official merch. But if we're going to do a DAO merch site, that's also something I still need to figure out.
That would be cool. And do you have any ideas on the merch as well? Like I know we've got mini gotchis floating around. Is that something that's planned to be in there, or is that just too special an item?
That is all the man Z-Bot, and those things are, one of ones. He hand paints most of them. I don't think they have like a mass kind of scale way to do those yet. I have looked into a couple ideas. So it is possible. I actually sent my little gotchi into a 3D printing on-demand warehouse thing in New York. They scanned it, sent me a quote back. So I have all that stuff if we want to do it. If we end up running that kind of thing, we probably need to talk to Pixelcraft about IP and that kind of thing. They still own the IP, so they probably are entitled to some sort of revenue share there, depending on how much money we make.
That all makes sense. I know I definitely want to get my hands on a little LFG. They're very cute. Small FGs.
Yeah, I mean, I see people on Twitter asking for them that, have no idea what Aavegotchi is, I think, or just know the name kind of thing. So there's definitely a demand for them there at ETH Denver. I mean, I can tell you that was like one of the hottest items for sure. I had people just, you got any more, like coming up to me on the side. I'm just like, nah, I'm sorry. Like I had to keep a certain amount at a certain point. So yeah,
Yeah,
getting those
keeping the
guys
Dutchies.
scaled up, getting them
Not an
yeah
easy
scaled
job.
up. Getting that scaled up and having like merch that we can pay for in Ghost, USDC, ETH, whatever. Like I could take any crypto payment. It uses Base or tokens on there, and even Alchemica. I see Flame mentioning Alchemica. So that is like a possibility. Alchemica is already on Base. I don't think it has a good price feed, so that might be kind of hard. But definitely Ghost, and we could do ETH and USDC once I have shipping figured out.
Oh, good. Very cool. And going back to the gotcha greeters and the events, I mean, you mentioned you wanted some input on how we can calculate success and things like that. As far as you're concerned, for the events you've already done, which one do you feel was the most successful?
I would say that ETH Denver and Consensus were both pretty successful as far as getting eyes and onboarding people. The contest, the tournament that we ran at ETH Denver actually did lead to some people buying gotchis and land, and they're still holding. I checked the wallets the other day. And a bunch of people are actually just still holding their tokens. They didn't dump. Some people did, of course, but a good chunk, over 50%, either bought assets or still holding. So that was definitely a success. Those people, are officially onboarded. I know White Ranger directly onboarded some people to fake gotchis there at the Polygon booth. That was really cool. And then I would say Consensus. We got a couple other people that I have their wallets. I was able to kind of follow up, track them, see that they actually bought stuff and are still holding. Those two I can speak to directly. For the European events, we didn't have the funnel to capture a lot of the like emails and that kind of thing. So it's a little bit harder to measure. I need to get an iPad out to those guys now that it's like more official. I need to send Mr. Seb one of our iPads so he can capture these things very easily at the events. It's really clunky to do it any other way. Even if it's a computer, it's so clunky. The iPad is the only way that it actually works and people don't mess it up. So I got to get one of those out to him now so he can do all that kind of capture in Europe, if this passes, of course.
Awesome, awesome. And does that potentially mean that if we do get more of a presence going in Europe, that Europe's going to get themselves an arcade machine?
I would think so, yes. I mean, I would definitely push for that on my end. Me and Mr. Seb have talked. We found like this really cool gaming cafe kind of thing, for ECC. Whether we have the arcade machine in there or not is fine, but there's a ton of computers and like it's a full kind of gaming setup. They use it for the sandbox, like teaching classes, like where they teach people the sandbox engine and that kind of stuff. It looks really awesome. So that's definitely something I would target, is having an arcade machine there to kind of take into that place.
Very cool, very cool. And did you want to mention which one do you think, which event was the least beneficial potentially? Or
Shredding
the
Sass.
most misaligned? Yeah.
Shredding Sassy. Like nothing against those guys. It was just very poorly organized. It was probably their first time doing it. Or at least whoever organized it their first time doing it. And it was definitely a little bit of a mess. They're great people. I have nothing against them. I had fun time, but I wouldn't do it again.
Cool, cool. Very well done. Awesome. Well, there we go. So V2 of the Gotchi Greeters thread is out. Drop your thoughts on anything that needs to be changed, anything that could be boosted, how we want to measure success, and anything else that's on your mind, and we can get a new and improved Gotchi Greeters program running for another year. So thank you very much, Light Piglet, for coming on with that, and also
problem.
for giving us an update on the based Minecraft. So it's nice to see other communities are jumping on the Gotchi bandwagon.
Yeah, I'll make a little thread in DAO discussion for that.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. Well, the next thing I have is Flame. He is running a small AI music and art competition. So it's going to be fairly quick turnaround on this one. This is something he's self-funding. So let me see, is he here? Did you want to jump up on stage and give us a brief rundown, or? Let's see. Typing. So he's already dropped some pics in the chat. Is it this chat? Yeah. So he's dropped a sneak peek of the unfinished fake NFT that he will be releasing. The artist is still working on it and hasn't colored it yet, but there will be 15 of these dedicated to the Gotchi community, and this gives you some benefits with playing the demo when it comes out, and there'll be 100 silver cards going outside the community. So these players won't need a Gotchi to start playing. They'll be able to just use this card instead. But yeah, there we go. So Flame can't come up right now, but we have, I believe it's a 1 week competition. It's going to be run a lot like the last one we did, where we had the special thread in the Discord, and all the pics and music are posted, and it'll be emoji voting, and someone will add everything up at the end. So that is coming very soon. If you want more info, you can jump into his threads. He's got a few on the go at the minute, and you can find out more on what's happening there. The next thing I have is Zygo's Grid Gladiator proposal. He is finalizing the details as we speak. He's not able to join us today either, but he might be here next week to give us an update. But he is also expecting a child, so he might be busy. But if you have any questions, if you want any more details or changes, suggestions, anything, jump into his thread, and he is ready to make the final prop very soon. So that is for Grid Gladiator. Following on from that though, I was going to have a little look at the marketing budget discussion that's been going on, and some of the topics kind of overlap with what's been coming up in the Zygo's Grid Gladiator thread. There's been a lot of talk about direction for the DAO and what we should be funding, what we shouldn't. Do we need marketing? Do we not? Who should be doing it? Who should be leading it? When's the right time? All sorts of interesting questions that we do need to start answering. And Flame seems to be getting impatient on the marketing, because he has started going out there and hitting up different websites to list the token. He's been contacting other companies, Coinzilla, for example, to see what kind of marketing campaigns they can do in a general sense. And he just wants to be ready. So he's posted the snapshot proposal already, because a lot of the chat in the thread lean towards waiting to do any marketing until Geist Chain is ready, and then timing it for that, or even piggybacking on maybe Pixelcraft's marketing push at the same time to expand that and get the Gotchi Gospel out there. So lots of options and things we need to kind of address. So I don't know if there's anyone here, because there was a lot of people that were discussing it in those two threads. But if there's anyone that has any views on the marketing, it's not a bad time to start getting your ideas out there. And anyone is definitely welcome to jump on stage if they want to say their piece. So Phase has posted all our threads. Thank you.
I mean, I've done digital marketing for 14 years.
Mhm.
The info.
Sounds good. It's definitely something we need to address. We need some marketing professionals that do know what they're doing, because I'm one of those people that doesn't even believe it works. But hey, I'm pretty convinced it must, because it's a pretty big industry. So I'm not the one to definitely be coming up with any ideas, but we have plenty of big brains from every field. Surely between us, we can come up with a reasonable plan, or find someone who is capable outside the community. So either way, marketing is something that's going to happen soon-ish. So Thrax says there are some cheaper ways we can aim at first. Let's see what they might be. We definitely could mobilize a bit more with our social media presence. That's not something that costs anything. I know I've been pretty slack lately, but we have a lot more games. We can do a lot more streaming. There's definitely ground level community stuff that can ramp up. Let's see, is there anything else popping up in the chat? Yeah, so Flame's also got a list of all the websites he's submitted Ghost and our tokens to be tracked on their pages. So these, while they've been submitted, need to get votes to actually have the sites follow through. So if you follow the link he posted, you'll be able to see them all and add your vote, and we can just get our presence that little bit further out there in the Web3 world. Yes, like Piglet, you should make that video. And we can farm some credits on Hyperplay. So I don't think we have any regular streamers other than Futuristic and Roxiano's doing our DAO calls and hangouts. I know we had Gotchi Bulls for a while there. I'm not too sure what's happened with his streaming. Hopefully he'll be back soon and all as well. But we could definitely do with a few more if anyone else is feeling like jumping behind the camera or in front of. Sponsored game videos on YouTube. Not a terrible idea. This is true. Something we can think about. Who would we like gaming our games? And then, yeah, looking deeper into thinking what services and products we can offer. If we get that shop going, that's definitely something that's very marketable. We have great IP and that has a broad appeal, regardless of whether you play the game or not. I know those gotchis are cute and cute sells, so Midnight Ghost, fabulous streams, so the more the merrier there. There we go. So plenty of community members looking to do their part, but probably time to start thinking about taking it to the next level and getting some proper marketing going, especially to take advantage of the launch of the Geist chain. Once that goes live, there'll be a lot going on and we want to be ready, which is why Flame has posted his proposal so that when the green light is given, we don't have to wait X amount of weeks to get a proposal suddenly through. So take a look at the proposal, jump in his thread, and let your voices be heard. And we will probably revisit this next week and see what ideas we've come up with. There we go. Oh, and there's another idea, a DAO run game night. That is a good idea. We could most certainly do with something like that. So the ideas are coming. Let's see how we go in a week's time and what comes up in Discord. And other than that, I don't actually have anything else for this DAO call. We have all of our active forums and proposals covered, and Doctor Who will not be back next week on BBC One. Oh dear. There we go. So if anyone else wants to jump on stage or has anything else, please feel free. The stage is open. But it has been a quiet end of summer week so far, so. There will be definitely no singing phase, not a chance. So I'm going to take that as a wrap. And thank you everyone for joining us. It's great to see all of you here again, week in, week out. And I will see you in the forums and talk to you soon. Thanks very much, guys. Bye.
Thanks, Warren. Peace, everybody.